Hi, I'm Zach. I'm 31 years old. I live at my parents' house, and I work at my local gas station. Now, I've been a very ambitious young adult. In my earlier 20s, I had a vision of helping create world peace, of stopping all starvation in the world and all homeless people, giving them a home and ending all wars. And I knew I was overly ambitious. I was leaning into it. And a whole bunch of things happened. And as I lived on my own, I did do some incredible things. I pushed myself and I grew as a human being. But the more I held on to the outcome of wanting to be the person to save the world, the deeper I went into getting burnt out and other unpleasant feelings and experiences. And I went into homelessness. I came out of homelessness. I worked hard. I had multiple jobs. A whole bunch of stuff happened. But a couple things that I didn't let go of, or that I stayed adamant about, is my passion. Being a singer-songwriter and performer, and performing music. And performing music with a message, with something to inspire a more compassionate and fulfilled people in planet Earth. And so, because of my ambitions, or because of my foolish ways of chasing these ambitions, and other things happening, but mostly because of my choices of foolishly chasing these ambitions, I had to move back in with my parents. And here I am, 31 years old, starting over. Recently, I've quit, and it's not the first time in my life, but once again, I've quit nicotine and weed and caffeine even. And so I don't have any expenses. So now I'm just working at a gas station and saving money, saving all my money. Except I'm also a father. So, of course, paying bills, paying child support. I did have a car, but I no longer have a car, so now I'm saving money, I'm saving for a car, and financially getting my life together, but also continuing to work on my passion and build my own business of being a performer and singer-songwriter. And that's something I'm very grateful, and it leaves me feeling fulfilled at the end of the night. It leaves me feeling good that I found what I love to do, and I didn't give it up because of fear. I didn't give up on the music inside of me, the fire that I have to create and perform, and that I fearlessly went after it. I was homeless and performing on the streets. I hitchhiked from Missouri to New York. I did all these things, continuously being persistent and uploading and writing hundreds of songs and bettering myself, because did not start out with natural talent. In fact, the opposite. I built up any type of skill I have now over the course of over 10 years. And so here I am, working at a gas station, 31 years old. And I'm actually feeling good about where I'm at in life. The past 10 or so years, for the most part, has been spent figuring out what I want to do with my life and figuring out who I am and what I love to do and building the foundation. And then it crumbled as far as financially and physically, but I built the skills that I have. I built the clarity that I have of who I am and what I want to do. And I have almost 200 songs now on Spotify, almost 1,000 videos on YouTube. I've built a small networking connection of people. These are things that I'm happy and grateful that I put time towards in my 20s and continued to now in my early 30s. And I'm also very grateful and happy that now I'm staying persistent at a job and not toxically chasing these dreams. I've learned from my mistakes of chasing after my need to be successful in music and YouTube, but neglecting going to a day job and neglecting paying car payments. It's another reason why I don't have a car. And relying on my parents time and time again. And I've always been there for my son. I've always prioritized my son. I could not imagine not being there for him. But to a certain extent, me neglecting these bills as much as I did means that I just wasn't being responsible. I was relying on my parents to help me pay child support, to help me pay rent some months whenever I was living on my own. Although there were points where I've gone through cycles and I've been like, no, I'm going to do this all on my own. And then I would get like 2-3 jobs and then I would be doing it, but then I'd get burnt out from that. And then I'd be like, I got to put more full-time towards my music, or I got to go full-time in my music again. I've been putting too much time towards these jobs and I can't let go of the dream. So then I would go back into music and then I would get better at that and I would build more on that and I would make more money from that. But then that would eventually crumble because then I wasn't making enough money. And then I would have to ask my parents for help. And that cycle would go on for a while. And eventually, bigger things happened. Cars completely failed. I got into situations where I had to be in the hospital. Like, I got ran over by a car. Also, at some points, I was drinking a lot and just in bad situations. And so, making poor choices and getting burnt out and holding on to these ideas and then picking up bad habits and being in bad groups of people, unhealthy, toxic people, or people that they're not specifically just toxic people. I was toxic around them too. It was just, basically I got to a point where I was struggling just to get by living in a hotel, so I had to come back and live with my parents once again. After being away for almost 7 years. And I can't say fully on my own because, like I said, I would ask for their help whenever I needed it. And because they could help me, they would. And I'm very grateful that they have this entire time. If my parents weren't helping me, I very likely would not have been as crazy and as ambitious with my actions as before, because then I wouldn't have known how I was going to feed my son or how I was going to have a car to pick him up. So my parents have helped me out and helped out my selfish goal of being a singer-songwriter and YouTuber. And not that they want to help support me there, but not that they were trying to enable me, but that's pretty much what ended up happening. And I continued to go through the cycle of full on into music, oh, it's not working out, get 2 jobs, until eventually I just got so far behind, and then I got ran over by a car, and then I couldn't work, and then roommates moved out, and certain things happened, and then I just had to move back in with my parents. So I've been here for about 2 years, almost 3 years, and just recently, a little bit over a month ago, I quit all the substances that were keeping me from really saving money. I was saving money because I wasn't really spending a lot of money. Like, I was smoking weed, using vape, and caffeine, which I was spending a lot of money compared to how much I'm spending now, because I'm not buying anything that I don't need. And so now I feel as though I've reached another milestone in my life. And even though I'm working at a gas station, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, it doesn't really matter where I'm working at. That's a societal thing. Thinking, oh, you're working at a crappy job, you're just working at Walmart, you're just working at McDonald's, you just work at a gas station. I mean, if you work at a job and you make enough money to live, then, and you're happy, that's what matters. It doesn't matter, well, existentially, that's what matters. It doesn't matter if you're successful in society and if you have all the glamorous things that go along with it. But I do also value putting my time towards things that I'm passionate about and I love. And I value not fearfully staying at a day job just because I don't think I'm strong enough to do what I love for a living. Because I'm still going after that. Still, in my spare time, I'm making videos and I'm writing new songs and I'm playing at gigs and I'm street performing and all these things. And so working at a gas station now as a 31-year-old is a stepping stone for me. It's what works right now. I'll be able to save up for a car in the next 7 to 8 months, and then another year or 2 after that, I'll have all debt paid off from past landlords and roommates that I never paid back for paying rent, and then I'll get a couple licenses and certain things, and then after 2-3 years from working at this gas station, no matter what, at least by then, I'll get a better job. And or I'll move up inside of the YouTube and music, as in I'm saving up for license to sell merch on the street and to go to festivals and events so I can start selling merch and playing music and busking there at these hot spots where there's a lot more people and I can make a lot more money and make a lot more money than I did last time. But whenever that time comes, I'm gonna make sure I don't completely quit my job. I'm gonna have a job. And so this gas station job will likely be here for me as a last resort, no matter what, inside my life. And not just here, but anywhere in the world, because there's gas stations everywhere for now, until we go to teleporters. I wanted to say electric cars, but I'm jumping forward a couple centuries. Teleporters? Are we gonna have teleporters? Is that even a thing? That might just be too sci-fi. I don't know. Maybe phones were too sci-fi a couple hundred years ago. Yeah, why am I holding a stick? I don't know. And so I don't want to just stay at a low paying job, though. As soon as I get a car, I will be looking for better opportunities. Very likely. But I told my boss that I'd likely stay there for 2 or 3 years. And that is generally my plan, is to stay at this gas station for 2 or 3 years. You know, as long it's paying the bills. They give me the time off whenever I ask. So if I have a gig, they give me the time off with my son whenever I have him on the weekends. And I'm getting about 40 hours a week, and then I'm getting time to work on music. So right now it feels like a sweet spot. It's like I'm right in the right spot in the ground where I can sprout out and get enough sunlight and really blossom some fruit and grow into a sweet human being. And so I'm going to continue to stay at this job, at this gas station, and grow. And it's helping me grow in many different ways, beyond just financially and all the other things I just said of having time to work on myself, but conflict, dealing with angry people. This gas station job is an opportunity for me to be triggered every single day by angry, entitled people. And for me to not become angry or entitled, for me to continue to blossom my heart and compassion for everyone, because that's something I value, and that is the direction I am growing in, is having compassion and staying stern in my foundation of compassion and clarity and not being affected by other people. And so it was so much easier for me to run away from things that could help me grow whenever I was self-employed and in music completely, because if anything triggered me too much, then I could just walk away. But at the gas station, you know, I'm forced to stay there. Not forced, but because at any point I could leave, but I'm choosing consciously to stay there so I can pay bills and all types of things. And there's other ways I can pay bills. But what I'm saying is, it's an opportunity for me to really get better at dealing with conflict and dealing with the toxic, entitled, depressed, angry part of society. There's this undertone of angry, entitled, toxic people in society, and you find a lot of them at gas stations. And those are the people that I would like to reach and inspire to turn more passionate and have more clarity and fulfillment in their lives, and not be driven by these compulsions and needing all these chemicals and things that they put into their bodies. And so it's another reason why this gas station job is a wonderful opportunity for me. But at the same time, I might grow a lot better I might grow a lot better in calmer or more peaceful environments, or if I had the opportunity to perform music or to work at a vegan restaurant or somewhere that is more aligned with my values, because then I won't be constantly getting agitated. But at the same time, I might just be completely liberated from being affected by people if I continue to work on myself the way I have been. And another 2 or 3 years after I come out of this, I'll be much stronger than I would have if I went somewhere where it's like an echo chamber and everybody agrees with everybody. But I also don't want to just justify staying at some place it's easy, because it's an easy job, and it's not necessarily it's not what I want to do. I don't want to work at a gas station for my entire life. My passion is being a singer-songwriter, helping animals, and inspiring people. And there's also many other things I just haven't explored yet in this life and world, as far as having jobs, or just, it doesn't even have to be a job, just if I have enough money and time and the opportunity to do it, to go to sanctuaries and volunteer there, help out homeless people and feed homeless people on the masses and things like that, that these visions I've had inside my mind that I haven't fully lived out. But even that, just beyond my own visions in my head, but going out into the world and seeing the world and seeing how I can help, or how I can fully experience it more. And also, there's probably 100 to 1,000 or infinity other things I could be doing to really be growing my business or my music, or the potential and possibility for me to be a full-time YouTuber or singer-songwriter. There's always more things I can be doing. And I know as soon as I get comfortable inside of a job and I say, all right, I'm fine now, just uploading a new song a week and then making these vlog videos a couple times a week, that it's good that I'm staying consistent in doing this and that I'll continue to do this. But at the same time, I'm keeping my mind open to the possibility that this might even be not a trap, but a boxed in. It's making a ceiling. It's making another room that I will break out of eventually, because whenever I grow past, I don't want to stay boxed in and say, oh, this is it, I'm fine, and stay inside my comfort zone. Because there's always more. And there's always more we can do with our lives. But for now, I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful to work at a gas station, and for everything that it does for me and that I can do for other people there. And for animals too. Because I'm the only vegan there. So it's an opportunity to inspire other people. How about you? Do you work at a gas station? What do you think? Leave a comment down below. For the animals! Woo!